All right, so this is going to be a little bit different kind of video today here. Actually, it's my second video today. I already should have put up my snatch workout, which was really nice. And this is going to be a little different because it's not about physical training, right? And the channel is Secret Training Knowledge. As you can see, I'm outside here in the woods. And actually, this is one of the places I really like to kind of, just reflect. If I have things I got to plan for clients, or if I have work I got to think about or projects, I like to kind of talk to myself and ponder those things in the woods. So I've been doing that for a little while now, and I thought, you know what, this is a good opportunity to record a video. And as I've kind of alluded in the past, and as the the title of this video is, has already said, I struggle with addiction, and today is a day it's bothering me a lot. So I thought I would actually kind of talk about that a little bit because, it's something. I don't know. I don't think there's that many YouTube channels to talk about it. Then again, I haven't really looked, but addiction is something a lot of people struggle with. So we all know, as I've kind of alluded to in my prior videos, mine's drinking. And it doesn't have to be drinking, right? Some people struggle with food. Some people struggle with drugs, and it could be, the most rudimentary of it. Could be something like marijuana, and it could be something like crushing up prescription pills and snorting them, or filling a syringe and banging whatever you put into it, right? And then there's all kinds of other stuff. Some people jack off too much, So whatever your poison is, we all kind of have them. People who don't are very lucky, but we all have our, poisons we have. And a lot of us use them as a crutch. And this is not a concept that I'm inventing or anything. I'm sure no matter who you are, whether you struggle with these things or not, you know somebody who does. And I think everyone has kind of come to the conclusion that these people, myself included, use these substances or behaviors as a crutch. And that's, like I said, not a new concept, but I wanted to talk a little bit about how that happens and why that happens and the things that make you turn to them and do that, because it's not an instantaneous process. I think, if, like, I grew up going through DARE, and you grow up hearing things and rumors about, what's good or bad for you, and, the dangers of doing this or that. The first time you try these things, right, of course they're not dangerous, you realize, and you have a great time. Like when I started drinking, it wasn't to cope with anything. I started drinking because I realized it was fun, and all through from about 2021, I guess it was 21 because I was able to buy liquor and alcohol and everything, till 30, I was pretty much a daily drinker, and it didn't really affect my life too much until about 30, right? Because it was fun. And the problem with that is it really sneaks up on you. I always say, people say, like, substance abuse and addiction is a genetic thing to a degree, and I agree. I have alcoholics in my family, but that's not what I blame it on. I always say I earned it. I earned my alcoholism. I earned my, my bad behaviors by doing them for 10 years straight. And what ends up happening when you do these things for that long, you don't realize it, but your nervous system, right, your brain, your neurotransmitter balance, the chemistry of your body realizes it. So at some point, what happens to myself, and I've been in a lot of rehabs. I have been in multiple rehabs. I've been in IOPs. It's intensive outpatient treatment. I've been to spiritual rehabilitation facilities. I've been to all kinds of stuff. And I meet a lot of people who have gone through the same thing. And it sneaks up on you. Because like I said, you don't realize it. You think you're just having fun. And at some point, life, if it wears on you enough, grinds on you enough, which I think is 99% of the people out there, whether you're a billionaire with a yacht and a helicopter, or whether you live in a cardboard box, it affects everyone. In fact, it might affect the successful more than the unsuccessful. I really don't know. I don't know if there's actually a study done on that, but you always hear about these celebrities who go through this stuff just as much as the homeless guys you see down in New York or Patterson or wherever. From Jersey, so I guess it'd be Patterson. But anyway, it gets to you because what you realize at some point is, rather than dealing with a situation head on, you decide that you can just do this thing and it'll feel better. For me, it's a bottle, right? What happens is, I had a bad day, and I'm not really a confrontational person. I think most people don't want to be confrontational. They don't want to rub people the wrong way, even if other people are rubbing them the wrong way. I think that's just our nature to kind of, the situation's uncomfortable, I'm just going to go the other way. I'm going to avoid it. I'm going to circumvent it. And what you begin to think about, like, and it's happened to me in relationships of every kind. I'm not just talking about like significant others or sexual relationships, but with my family, friends, work relationships, jobs at large between me and my bosses and so on. Man, it's not even July and there's mosquitoes already. All it takes is one good rain. Anyway, what you begin to realize is you can open a bottle or, order 10 pizzas or stick a needle in your arm, whatever it is, jack off 10 times in a row. You can do that and get instant gratification. And when you begin to do that, get into that pattern, you begin to teach yourself that this is how I get through it. And that you'll begin to recognize. You might not recognize how much instant pleasure you're getting or how much it's affecting you while you're building that over the course of years. But, when things get stressful, your brain will go right there. And that's where it really begins to get bad. Like I said, for me, it took about 10 years of this type of behavior. And I was in some jobs and things that really put me in bad situations. I liked the jobs originally, and the environment changed, the employees changed, the management changed. There's other things too. You don't feel maybe that you're getting the support you need or deserve, and you maybe voice your opinion or not. But at the end of the day, what you do know is whatever makes you feel better instantaneously, you can rely on. And at some point, that becomes a very bad thing, because as you age, the body can't do that anymore. And even if you don't age, there's some people very young who do it so much that they begin to have a problem. So that's how it begins to sneak up on you. It's a slow process. It's the boil the frog, And the Rolling Stones said it best, man. In, what is it? Give Me Shelter. It's just a shot away, right? Love, sister, it's just a shot away. But fuck it. Rape, murder, that last verse, it's just a shot away too. And that's the truth. The thing that gives you that relief helps you say fuck it. In fact, it helps you say fuck it so well that why do anything else? Why have any backup plan? Why have any other solution, And that's what awaits you if you continue down that road and you don't recognize it. And, that has happened to me. Now, I don't want to go down that road anymore. And I was just going to talk a little bit today about what was bothering me. This is something I've never done before, but I like it. It's a way to vent. And I've been through, like I said, every type of treatment there is. So, it's something new and different. There's a person in my life, unavoidably in my life. And I don't want to give too many details because it involves other people. And I'm going to put this on YouTube, so I don't want to give too many details. But it's a grown man, again, who's unavoidably in my life. And there's been events in the past that they have every reason to dislike me, and that's fine. But based on prior conversations, I kind of thought that we weren't past it, but we kind of, were on the same level as to what has gone on and everything. Well, today it kind of resurfaced, and it has, I think over the course of the last year, this is something that happened over a year ago. It's resurfaced at time to time, and it affects other people close to me that I really care about, and that grinds at me, it annoys me. And it doesn't help, that I'm trying to stay sober. I mean, we're 16 days in now, and I was just out running some errands, and man, there's a couple new bars that just opened, a couple new restaurants. Thinking about my favorite bar up the road from me that I like to hang out at and eat wings and drink beer and take shots, and that would be a nice way to forget about it. But I'm not going to do that. I figure I'd talk a little bit about it, and maybe someone can get some information from here. If they're in a similar situation, they can at least hear another person's going through that. They can hear how they deal with it. So I think instead of going out and just doing something rash or trying to avoid this, I've been thinking about it. And I was in the car, and I'm not going to do anything stupid. Look at the progress I'm making, right? I've been doing really well. My third week now, and I'm all my numbers are better. If I go out, maybe I would go out just once, but it's not likely. Have in the past, but it's not likely. I run that scenario through my head. Do I really want to be back in the hospital? Will my girlfriend really be tolerant if I, fuck up again? Will my family be tolerant if I fuck up again? And that's one thing, but, I'm trying to see things from other angles too. I'm trying to see this from that person's angle. And, of course, if the roles were reversed, I try to think about things, but I'm also thinking about it from my own experience. And I think, and this is what bothers me, this person says they want to hear from me exactly about these certain events of the past, which we've already done. We did that on the phone together, right? We did that on the phone, and, I asked to talk to them. I said, hand me the phone. I will talk to this person, And again, I think we've reiterated all this. And now, a year later, I don't know if I believe him. I don't know this. I don't know that. Meanwhile, they want to hear from me. 2 weeks ago, I forget. Within 2 weeks ago, I sent this person a happy birthday message. And they're a person who likes to invest in stocks, and I heard, and in cryptocurrency, and I heard that another person had brought up that I'm doing the same thing, which I don't recommend right now. Or maybe, things are in the shitter, so maybe it's not such a bad thing. But anyway, they were basically, this one crypto I invest in came up, and in a second, not email, but text message, I said, oh, hey, I heard you didn't hear about this. Let me give you some information. I sent him a website. I sent him, this and that. I'm like, here's the white paper, on how it functions and all this. And I have invested in it, and here's what it's been doing, and, just a friendly thing. Well, I never got a response. But then, not even 2 weeks later or whatever, this person is like, well, I want to hear from him. You've heard from me, I have reached out. In the past, when you said the same thing, I have reached out, or I've agreed to talk to you, and I begin to think about it. And I'm at first I'm very angry and irritated, that this stuff comes up. But, a big piece of it, I think, is lack of control in your life. And this is the same problem I have, right? Because you think about everything I just talked about, prior relationships, issues at jobs, issues at your house, issues with a loved one. The things that trigger you are lack of control in your life. And I think this person has the same issue. Now, they don't have the same vice I do, right? So they go about it a little bit differently. But I think a lot of the things that trouble everyone is just lack of control of the situation you're in. And given events of the past and everything, and the situation at large, I have a very strong suspicion that they're going through a lot of shit that they don't make evident to a lot of other people. And the next thing they do is then go, oh, well, what else in my life can I control? And then they go and try to do that. So, your Cheerios are getting pissed in. The next best thing is to go and piss in someone else's Cheerios so you can spread the misery, right? And I think that's not intentional. I think that that's very much just how humans deal with things when we get frustrated and when we react rather than think carefully about what's going on and try to be logical. When we become overly emotional. We become more animal, really. It's basal. There's a great book, I might probably review it actually, about willpower and about how the mind works and how people actually stick to goals and get over things like addiction. It's a really good book, and I'll do that another thing. But anyway, I think that's a big problem. And so I'm thinking it from my angle, It frustrates me. But I shouldn't be mad at this person, In fact, I screwed up in the past, of course. Part of it is my fault. And while it does suck and it affects other people, me going to my vice isn't going to change that. In fact, it'll make it worse. Like I said, there's too much negativity associated with it. Now, will it make me stop giving a shit right now? It sure will. But then what? What about tomorrow? I need to do the same thing tomorrow? It's not something that's going to go away. Like I said, this is a person who's in my life, whether I want it or not. So, my side of the situation, I think, revolves around the same thing. Now, this is something I can't control directly. They're making waves, right? And now I'm not a big fan of AA. Like I said, I've tried just about every treatment under the sun, but they have the Serenity Prayer. And whether you're religious or not, whether you're spiritual or not, that prayer is good advice. And it's, God, grant me the serenity to accept the things I cannot change, the courage to change the things I can, and the wisdom to know the difference. Think of it as good advice. Or if you're a spiritual or a religious person, and then it's you talking to God and asking for that judgment, that wisdom, like it says. Beyond that, there's a lot of that good advice a lot of other places, right? In the Hagakure, and I forget the names, I'm probably going to screw them up, there is a passage that reads something to the effect of, among the maxims on Lord Nyoshi's wall, there was this one: matters of great concern should be taken lightly. Upon reading this, Lord Aite responded, matters of small concern should be taken seriously. And I think my interpretation of that at least, is that when you have a daunting, serious problem, the best thing you could do is be adaptable. Something you can't control, in other words. Be adaptable, look for options, stay calm. Whereas when there's tiny things in your life out of order, you should tighten up your ship. If it's little things you can control, take care of them. Get your stuff in order. It's going to make things much smoother sailing. And, you know, the Art of War, I'm in the chapter, I think it's chapter 6 or 5, Energy. They have similar advice. The the Book of 5 Rings or 5 Scrolls by Musashi, I'm sure, has similar advice. In fact, I know it does. It's really, you know, it's about understanding what you can and can't control and then acting the appropriate way. And I'm trying to do that rather than react foolishly, you know? So that's something to really think about. And if you're a person who is beginning to rely on these things, and this is the best advice I could give everybody, be conscious of that and do your best to come up with something else. You know, do your best, because once it happens and you begin to rely on stuff that, you know, you don't want to, that's when you make the stupidest decisions in your life, because it does make you not give a shit. And let me tell you something, none of us are perfect, but when you don't give a shit because you're chemically altered or because you've gone so far down a path that, you know, you just go, oh, this is all I need. You know, all those terrible qualities in you, and we all have them. You know, one of mine is I'm quick to rage, I'm quick to anger over the stupidest things. When you start to go down that path, all those things come out of you because you really lose control. You're like, I have what I need in this bottle. I have what I need in this stack of pizzas. I have what I need with this pornography and my dick in my hand, or whatever the fucking case might be. And once you start doing that, you don't give a fuck. And those bad qualities come right out of you. You know, I've done more stupid things, blacked out, that I barely remember, or God forbid, I remember enough of it to be horribly regretful, you know, and that's something you don't want. So that's my advice. If you're a person who's beginning to really enjoy something too much, start to look for other things to enjoy, healthier things. It's one of the things I love about my training, and one of the things I rely on. I had a lot of trouble this last year with the whole COVID shit because I really couldn't make it out to go into any competitions. It was hard for me to find goals. And without those types of things, that's one of the things I really love is healthy competition. You know, it was a struggle for me. So it's also important to recognize that there's going to be struggles and life's going to throw you problems, and you got to think about them. You got to approach them with a calmer mind. And I'll tell you what I've been doing. One of the reasons I've been doing this channel is because it's kind of keeping me honest. Now, this is a channel of no viewers, at least at the time of this video. Zero viewers, 0 subscriptions, and I'm just putting this information up, one, because I think I'm good at what I do and I can put that information out there. God forbid anybody pays me for my fucking services. But, you know, if they're not going to pay me, I might as well put that information out there so people can use it, or see what's possible, at least, in a natural fashion. And beyond that, it's helping. Because I'll tell you, I just went for this walk, I just made this video, a long video, but I feel a little bit better. I've talked about it, I've rationalized it, I've let time pass without me making a mistake, without me doing something foolish. And it's making me feel a lot better and helping me rationalize. And now I'm much calmer mind, and, you know, the machinations aren't going crazy and thinking about all this awful shit. And I told you I'm quick to anger and rage. You start thinking about what awful things you want to happen to people, or what terrible things you want to do to somebody, or how much you're going to fucking let them know how you feel about what they've said. But you know something, like I said, again, that's just attached to all of that negativity. And let's be honest, guys, this is another thing. If you're somebody like me who's just trying to get away from your crutch, get away from things that you've relied on for that long unhealthily, it's going to be tough. Things are going to happen like that. And, you know, they call it in AA, I'm dry right now, right? I'm a dry drunk, which is a shitty term. I hate their terminology, and I hate their goofy tongue-in-cheek shit. And you might like it. So I'm not saying don't go to AA. Like I'm saying, for me, you know, it wasn't the right thing. But, you know, maybe you do. But that's one of the terms there. And that's exactly what I am right now. I'm frustrated, right? I'm restricting myself. And the whole idea is to get to a point where you're no longer doing that. And you can only do that if you don't use those things as a crutch. That's almost 20 minutes, so I doubt anyone's going to actually listen to this whole thing. Maybe somebody does. Maybe somebody needs that advice. I don't know. But it's up there now. It's out there. So anyway, that's that. I'm going to finish my walk here, and then I have a huge meal. One of the things that is not a crutch for me is food. So I eat healthy. I cook healthy. I have delicious pork chops that I prepared. Last night I had delicious salmon, so that's a healthy thing I can go do, you know? And I'm going to go do it. and get bigger and stronger and stay on the right path. Okay? And that's that. See you soon.